Ayrshire Junior calves, spring calves, please. Ayrshire exhibitors can be bringing your winter heifer calves to the ringside. Holstein 5-year-old cows to the ringside. Emily.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly a pleasure to be here at the Maryland State Fair. And 5 really nice calves to start our show in the March calf class. And for me, a handy winner coming out in our first place calf. She has the advantage over our second place heifer being so much nicer up through that shoulder. She's higher in the chine. She's fuller in the crops. She's a heifer that just tracks so much nicer out on the move compared to the second place heifer. Also keeping that tail head down in between those pins. Taking nothing away from this mid-April calf coming out in second. You love the femininity. You love the quality of this calf. And it is that dairiness, that stretch she has up through that head and neck. Heifer's cleaner down through her bone. Those thrills are more centrally located compared to our third place heifer. And then third goes over fourth, just a little cleaner everywhere, especially down through that thigh region, a little bit trimmer about that dewlap and brisket than the red heifer we have coming out in fourth. And then fourth goes over fifth, just so much more mass, so much more width everywhere. Heifer who just shows so much more body for the age today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Evans. Ayrshire exhibitors, we're ready for your winter heifer calves. Holstein exhibitors, we're ready for your 4-year-old cows to be brought to the ring. 5-year-old, I'm sorry.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here in the Holstein ring, 4 cows that couldn't be any more different. But for me, I ended up moving this cow to first here last minute, just to so much more power right through that front end, a little more width all the way through than this beautiful, stylish cow coming out in second. Second over third, just a cow that's so much more natural dairiness, a little more openness through that rib structure, a little cleaner down through that bone in that leg today than this a really square framed cow coming out in third. Third over fourth, just so much more mass through that midsection, a little more height and width to that rear udder today. But 4 very, very nice cows here in the 4-year-old class in the Holsteins.
Holstein 5-year-old cows to the ring, please. Results of the 4-year-olds that just left the ring. The special award was presented by the Kenton Bender family of Oak Ridge Farm to the first place 4-year-old, entry number 437. Peace and Plenty Link Rocky sired by EDG Mogul Link Up, exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farms of Union Bridge, Maryland. Highest placing animal bred and owned by exhibitor in class. Second to entry 439, Pheasant Echoes H.O. Megan, sired by High Octane, exhibited by Pheasant Echoes Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Third to entry number 436, Torquato Apple Brandy, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamourview Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Fourth to entry number 438, Skip Avalanche Jewel, exhibited by Josh Skipton of Jefferson, Maryland. Beginning at the top of the class, 436 was third, 437 was first, and best bred and owned by exhibitor. 438 was fourth, and 439 was second. We'll begin the ring now, a Holstein 5-year-old calf. In the Ayrshire ring, the spring heifer calves have just left the ring. A special award was presented by Rhonda and Jeff Winkler and family of Steel Fire Farm. To entry 103, Vale's Pride Prime Ricky. She's sired by Dela Plain Prime, exhibited by Mark, Jess, and Gavin Valentine of Thurmont, Maryland. Second to entry 104, Springvale Red Apple, exhibited by Jeffrey Hubbard of Springvale Farm in Thurmont, Maryland. Third to entry 105, Sunny Acres DD Platinum Prodigy, exhibited by Mark Valentine and Jess Valentine and Greg of Thurmont, Maryland. Fourth to entry 106, Vale's Pride Champion Gambler, exhibited by Michelle Gerhardt of Union Bridge, Maryland, and Ron Pyrbender. Fifth was entry 107, QT Acre Zola, exhibited by Richard Tharp of Rising Sun, Maryland. Ayrshire winter heifer calves in the ring. Ayrshire exhibitors, bring your fall heifer calves to the ringside. Holstein exhibitors, I think we only have one aged cow entry, no long time production class, so you may be getting your Holstein 4 and 5 year old cows to the ringside, and the intermediate champion and reserve and our junior champion and reserve can be getting ready to be brought to the ringside. Upon the conclusion of our aged cow class, we select our senior and reserve senior champions and then move into grand and reserve. Once again, those of you who may be staying in the Red Roof Inn, if somebody's missing a room key, we just might have it up here.
Well, here in the 5-year-old class, 2 cows that come to the top of the class very handily for me, but giving the cow in first advantage, just a little bit of cleanliness about her, a little longer, stronger in that forerunner attachment. I prefer the way those front teats are tucked underneath the udder, just a little nicer than this big framey cow coming out in second. And what a tremendous rear udder this cow has. Second over third, just a little more height to that front end, a little cleaner about her head and neck today, a little more length all the way through than this beautiful dairy cow in third. Third over fourth, just a little higher, wider right at the top of that rear udder, a little more open, some depth to that rib structure today. But fourth over fifth, just a little more width to that chest, a little more height and width to that rear udder today. But 5 beautiful cows out here in your 5-year-old class. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Duckett. We're now ready for your Holstein aged cows. Ayrshire exhibitors, we're very happy to have with us this afternoon to place your Ayrshires, Mr. Greg Evans from Sunny Acres in New York. This time, as he presents his reasons on our Ayrshire winter heifer calves.
Well, 6 really nice calves in different makes and models all the way down through. But when you start evaluating these calves, this heifer in first, she's a no-holes kind of heifer. She's hard top, she's long-bodied, she's deep and open through both her fore and rear rib. And when you start comparing her to our second place heifer, she's a little bit nicer up through that front end. She's deeper in the heart. She shows more drop to that rear rib. Shows more width through that front end and width through that pin region compared to the white heifer we have coming out in second. I love the stretch and style of this second place heifer. You love the extension to that head and neck, the length, the body, the beautiful leg that she walks upon. And it's the advantage she has over the third place heifer being so much nicer through that rump. She's more level from hooks to pins. She keeps that tail head down so much nicer. While also being a little bit cleaner cut up through that head and neck than the heifer we have coming out in third. And then third goes over fourth. It's just fitting together so much nicer from her shoulder back into her barrel compared to this fourth place heifer. Being higher in that chine, a little bit cleaner up through that front end than the deep, powerful heifer we have coming out in fourth. And then fourth goes over fifth. She's wider in that chest. She's deeper in the heart, shows more body all the way through than the super stretchy February heifer we have coming out in fifth.
Thank you very much, Mr. Evans. We're now ready for your fall Ayrshire heifer calves. Results of the Holstein 5-year-olds that just left the ring. First was entry number 443, Arethusa Awesome Aluna, sired by Lucky Awesome, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamourview Creamery. Second to entry 446, Kingsway Dorman Andrea, sired by Val Bissam Dorman, exhibited also by Glamourview Creamery. Third to entry 444, Pheasant Echoes Worm Tories, exhibited by Pheasant Echoes Farm. And fourth to entry number 440, Sutton Avalon's Eden, exhibited by Jillian Sutton of Westminster, Maryland, And fifth to entry 441, Skip High Octane Exquisite, exhibited by Josh Skipton of Jefferson, Maryland. The special award to the first place 5-year-old cow was made available by Matt and Kelly Welsh.
Well, a single entry here in your age cow class in the Holstein ring, but what a quality dairy cow she is. She's long neck, dairy, open rib cow. That just spells milk from one end to the other, but very deserving of the blue ribbon today, and congratulations.
The first place Holstein age cow was the recipient of the special award presented by Chris and Jennifer Hill on behalf of Maryland Hillbrook to entry number 392, Signature Clarica's Wind. She's sired by Gillette Winbrook, exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farms, presented in the ring by none other than Gus Swartzbeck of Union Bridge, Maryland. Holstein exhibitors were ready to select our senior champion and reserve from among our 4, 5, and age cow classes. Please bring them to the ring. Ayrshire exhibitors, your fall heifer calves are entering the ring. The Ayrshire winter calves that left the ring, the special award was presented by Sherry Duty of Sherland Farm. To Ayrshire entry number 114, Hirocher Big Time Miss Beauty, sired by Marbury Big Time, exhibited by Katie Schultz of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Second and highest placing animal bred by exhibitor in class was entry 115, Len Noel B. Belva, exhibited by Candace Lenhart of Thurmont, Maryland. Third was entry number 110, Vale's Pride Lochinvar El Camino, exhibited by Mark Valentine of Thurmont, Maryland. Fourth was entry 116, Palmyra Blackjack P. Raynell, exhibited by Rhonda Winkler and Lori Mellon of Steelfire Farm in Woodbine, Maryland. Fifth to entry 113, Mapledale Champ Darby, exhibited by Morgan Murray and David Patrick of Mapledale Farm, Woodbine, Maryland. Sixth to entry 111, Mapledale Poker Dustin, exhibited by David Patrick of Mapledale Farm in Woodbine, Maryland. Ayrshire fall heifer calves in the ring, and in the west end of the arena, we are about to select our senior and reserve senior champion, Holstein. Holstein exhibitors, if we could have the intermediate and reserve intermediate champion on standby at the ringside, as well as our junior and reserve junior champion heifers. Selection of our senior and reserve senior champion is underway, and as soon as that is completed, we will move into grand and reserve grand champion of our show.
Ladies and gentlemen, out in the Holstein ring, we've got your 5 cows back in for contention for senior champion. They're 5 beautiful dairy cows. You got your first and second place 4-year-olds, cows that, like I said in class, you couldn't ask for cows to be any more different. You got the first place cow, an extremely balanced cow with some width to her chest and beautiful mammary. Second place 4-year-old, a cow that's a stylish frame cow with tremendous udder. Your first and second place 5-year-olds, cows that are, again, very different, but cows that wear tremendous rear udders. Just giving the cow in first an advantage, or just a little snugger in her udder attachments, a little longer in that forward attachment. And then your H cow, a cow that you gotta admire, a cow that stands the test of time. She's dairy from one end to the other. Cow that's extremely open in that rib structure. I'm going to go out name your senior champion. your reserve, your honorable mention, and I'll come back and give my reasons.
Ayrshire exhibitors can be bringing your summer yearlings to the ringside.
For grand champion for me today, this 5-year-old that's had 4 calves and wears her tremendous udder. You just got to give her that advantage in the snugness and height and width of that rear udder attachment, the length of that fore-udder attachment to go over the reserve, and just a little more crisp to her frame today. The reserve cow's been fresh a long time, and the reserve over your honorable mention, just a little more frame today, a little more height right to that front end, a little more power up through her front end than this beautiful dairy cow for honorable mention. But 3 beautiful dairy cows. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Walton and Yeager of Glamour View Creamery on entry number 443. Our senior champion, Arethusa Awesome Aluna, sired by Lucky Awesome out of the cow Arethusa Acme Ashton, and the recipient of the senior champion award presented by Doug and Mary King of Kingstead Farms. Our reserve senior champion is entry 446, Kingway Dorman Andrea, sired by Val Bisson Dorman, out of the cow Kingsway Sanchez Orangutan, also exhibited by Glamour View Creamery of Walkersville, Maryland, and the recipient of the special award to the reserve senior champion presented by Mike Yeager and family of Bulldog Holsteins. We're now ready to select our grand and reserve grand champion Holstein, and for his reasons on our Ayrshire Fall heifer calves, Mr. Greg Evans.
Well, what a gorgeous pair of heifers to come out on top of this fall heifer calf class, and it's a close placing for me. 2 heifers, you love certain attributes to them, but we're going to give the advantage to this first place heifer. They're just tracking straighter for me out on the move compared to the second place calf. Mover for us today, she's a little wider on that chest floor. She's deeper in the heart. She has a little more pop to that midsection than this ultra feminine red heifer we have coming out in second. I love the stretch to this heifer, the uphill run, the high chine she possesses, and she does have the advantage the way that head and neck comes out of that body wall, the extension to that head and neck than the first place heifer, and it was a close placing for us. But it's the overall dairy quality, the femininity, the stretch of body, the length of the head and neck that gets her over the white heifer we have coming out in third. She's trimmer about that dewlap and brisket. She's cleaner back through that thigh. Heifer just shows a little more length through that front end, and the powerful deep heifer coming out in third. And third goes over the fourth. It's the way she is through that front end. She's higher in the chine. She's fuller in the crops. She blends so much nicer through that midsection than we had the heifer we have coming out in fourth. And then fourth goes over fifth, just being so much cleaner cut, so much more dairy. Heifer who's all the way through, just longer and leaner about that head and neck. Heifer who's sharper at the point of shoulder and carries that dairy quality all the way back through her tail, head, and bone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Evans. We're now ready for your Ayrshire Summer Yearling heifers in the ring, please. Ayrshire Summer Yearling heifers. ladies and gentlemen, on the ringside, on the west end of the arena, will be coming in our junior and reserve junior champions of our Holstein show, followed by our intermediate and reserve intermediate champions, and our senior and reserve, from which our judge, Mr. Mike Duckett from Duckett Holsteins in Rudolph, Wisconsin, will select our grand and reserve grand champion of our Holstein show here at the 140th Maryland State Fair. The Ayrshire Fall Heifer Calf class winner was the recipient of the special award presented by Ralph and Terry Shank of Palmyra Farm to entry number 123, Joe Mill Burdette Calypso, sired by Palmyra TriStar Burdette, exhibited by Taylor and Melissa Heater, Joe Mill Farm in Shade Gap, Pennsylvania. Second was entry 122, Glamour View Micro Ava, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamour View Farm in Walkersville, Maryland. Third were entry 126, Sunny Acres DD Platinum Protege, exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine of Thurmont, Maryland. Entry 118 was fourth, Maple Dell Champ Doris, exhibited by David Patrick of Maple Dell Farm in Woodbine, Maryland. Entry 127 was fifth, Springvale Apple Ale, exhibited by Jeffrey Hubbard of Springvale Farm in Thurmont, Maryland. Entry 124 was sixth, Vale's Pride B King Katie, exhibited by Shay Senshula of Heart of Trinity in Mount Airy, Maryland. Seventh was entry 117, R.J. Marr Pentagon Deanna, exhibited by Ryan Martin of Rocky Ridge, Maryland. And eighth was entry 121, Sherlyn Redemption Delta, exhibited by Sherry Duty of Sherlyn in Thurmont, Maryland. Ayrshire Summer Yearlings now in the ring.
Well, here in the Holstein ring, we've got our animals back out here for Grand Champion. Before I name my Grand Champion, I want to thank the breeders and exhibitors for having me here to judge their show, and the people at Maryland State Fair. It's been a fun couple of days here. We've got the junior champion, a heifer that I feel that for me, on the heifers I've seen this summer and spring, a heifer that's got as much potential as anything I've seen all fall or all summer, I should say. I admire this heifer a lot. We got your intermediate champions, a couple of beautiful dairy heifers or cows, tremendous uddered cows, tremendous feet and legs, beautiful frames. Your senior champions, cows that's had 4 calves that wear tremendous udders, extremely high and wide in the rear udders. A pair of cows that couldn't be any more different, as I said before, but you got to admire their longevity, and we all know that calving cows over and over and over, you got to give these cows a lot of credit. I'm going to go out, make your grand champion your reserve and your honorable mention, and I'll come give my reasons.
Ayrshire exhibitors, bring your spring yearling heifers to the ringside.
as I said before, I'm a big fan of older cows, and cows, as a breeder, I know how hard it is to calve cows in and over and over and over, and at the end of the day, still wear a udder like this cow for champion. She's extremely high and wide in the rear udder, and then just giving her advantage in that snugness of her fore udder attachment, a little more level on her udder floor than this beautiful cow for intermediate champion. That'll be your reserve. Reserve over your honorable mention, just a little freer in her walk today, a little cleaner down through that bone in her leg today than this big, powerful cow that was second and reserve senior champion. But 3 beautiful cows for grand, reserve, and honorable mention. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, our grand champion Holstein is our senior champion, entry 443, Arethusa Awesome Aluna, sired by Lucky Awesome out of Arethusa Acme Ashton, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamour View Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Our reserve grand is our intermediate champion, entry number 422, London T&L Avalanche Angelina, sired by the Bethlehem Mr. Avalanche, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamour View Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. And our honorable mention is entry 446, Kingsway Dorman Andrea, also exhibited by Glamour View. Now, Mr. Evans will give his reasons on our Ayrshire Summer Yearlings.
Well, I sound like a broken record, but 4 beautiful heifers coming out today in our summer yearling class. And I love this top pair of heifers for us. Not the biggest heifers in the class, but the most balanced, the most refined, the most dairy. And it's the advantage that our first place heifer gets over our second place heifer in that length, the neck, the extension through that front end, more Ayrshire breed character about that head. Also just fitting together so much nicer up through that chine and tracking straighter out on the move than the deep, powerful, wide-rumped heifer in second. And second goes over third on that dairiness, the quality, the flatness of bone that she has. She tracks straighter when viewed from the rear out on the move compared to the third place heifer, while just being a lot flatter through that rump than the powerful heifer coming out in third. And third over fourth, she has so much more midsection, so much more middle, so much more drop to both fore and rear rib, while also being a cleaner, more feminine type of heifer for us today.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. We're ready for Ayrshire Spring Yearling heifers in the ring. In the Holstein ring, the winner of the A. Doty Remsburg Trophy for the best Maryland bred and owned female, presented by the Maryland Holstein Association, to entry number 407, Ernest Anthony Twitter. She's sired by Walnut Lawn Solomon out of the cow Ernest Anthony Triller, exhibited by Ernie Kiefter of South Mountain Jerseys and Holsteins in Boonesboro, Maryland. Holstein exhibitors, your order of showing in the group classes: Produce of Dam, which should be coming in the ring now, followed by Dam and Daughter, best 3 females, and exhibitors herd. Coming in the Ayrshire ring are our spring yearling heifers. Results of the Ayrshire Summer Yearling class that just left the ring. The first place heifer, the recipient of the special award presented by David and Ann Patrick of Mapledale Farm, to entry number 133, Stalin R. Mouth Maleficent, sired by Palmar of Berkeley Reagan, exhibited by Leslie and Linda Brucci of Stalin Genetics in Westminster, Maryland. Second to entry 139, Sunny Acres Regan's Carmody, exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine of Thurmont, Maryland. Third was entry number 130, Joe Mill Gentleman Carlotta, exhibited by Taylor Heater and Melissa Heater of Joe Mill Farm in Stone Gap, Pennsylvania. Fourth was entry 131, Tri-Line Micro Limit, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glaberview Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Ayrshire Spring Yearlings coming in the ring. Holstein exhibitors, we're ready for your Produce of Dam entries. Produce of Dam, please. Exhibitors in the Cow Palace, if anyone has a vehicle parked on the east side of the Cow Palace, that's the side facing the sheep and swine barn, please move your vehicles to Lot A. Please move all vehicles on the east side of the Cow Palace. We were kind of lax letting you there this morning, but we need you to move them now. We need to set those concrete barriers up to prevent traffic from coming in here as the crowd increases here on the walkways. All vehicles in the east side of the Cow Palace, please move your vehicles to Lot A, where they should have been all day. Ladies and gentlemen, ringside, as our Holstein Produce of Dam class is being judged in our Spring Yearling Ayrshires on behalf of the Maryland State Fair and Agriculture Society and its officers and directors. We'd like to thank all of those who helped participate in presenting awards and so forth. Today we're happy to have Miss Carly Knoll, who is a dairymaid from Frederick County, presenting awards in our Holstein ring, and Elena Waltemeyer, our Upper Chesapeake Dairy Princess, presenting awards in our Ayrshire show. And previously we have had several other young ladies presenting awards. We appreciate not only the ladies presenting them, but also all of those award donors on behalf of all the dairy breeds in the Maryland State Fair who have presented them or made them available.
Here in the Holstein ring, two groups out here for produce. I'm going to win with this group here in first. Just a little more maturity. You got to admire the memories these two cows have, and use that maturity to go over two beautiful square cut heifers here. That tremendous rib heifers in second. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Judge Duckett, first and second place, both exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farm. And the first place produce was the recipient of the special award presented by the Roderick family in member of Mr. Arthur Roderick to the first place group exhibited by Peace and Plenty. We're now ready for your Holstein dam and daughter entries.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about both of us, okay? No, we don't want to do that.
Ayrshire exhibitors, winter yearling heifers to the ringside. Attention Guernsey exhibitors in the barn. We're pretty much on time, but we will give you a 5-minute notice to bring your spring heifer calves to the ringside. We would ask that you bring them and exit from the dockside. We will give you 5 minutes notice to bring your first class to the ringside, so don't rush up here until we officially call for them.
Two entries here in the dam and daughter, but a close placing for me. Giving the group here first just a little advantage in the cow side of it, a little more bloom to that rear udder. Just the uniformity of the group to go over this big framing cow here and her daughter in second. Congratulations.
Well, we have a fairly handy winner coming out today in our Ayrshire Spring Yearling Calf class. I love the uphill run. I love the size and scale, the length of body she possesses. Who has the advantage over the second place heifer being so much nicer up through that front end. She's got that high chine, that uphill run. For me today, she just shows a little bit better blending of parts than the second place heifer. Taking nothing away from this second place heifer, she probably does wear the best fed of feet and legs in the class today, and she uses that advantage in feet and legs, just being straighter through that leg for us today, trekking straighter out on the move, standing up on those feet so much nicer than the heifer we have coming out in third. Lower for us today, she's a little more feminine, a little bit more dairy, showing a little more quality throughout than the absolute brute of a heifer in third place today. And it is the third place heifer advantage for me today of just being deeper in that fore rib, showing more openness to her rib than the ultra hard top heifer we have coming out in fourth. The fourth place heifer, I loved her out on the move around, walking around the ring. Once you got her standing in line, you really wanted to drop that midsection. You wanted to open her up through the rib to get up over these next two heifers. But it is the advantage she has in having a little bit more size and scale throughout, being taller at the withers, hooks, and pins for us. Heifer shows more midsection than the heifer we have coming out in fifth.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Results of the Holstein class dam and daughter. First place group was exhibited by Josh Skipton and Hannah Smith, and the recipient of the Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit Special Award. Second, also to Josh Skipton. Coming in the ring now are entries in our senior best three female class. Ayrshire Fall Yearlings coming in the ring. Ayrshire Fall Yearlings in the ring, please. In our Ayrshire ring, coming in the ring now, our Axel Winter Yearling heifers. This will complete the junior females. Upon the conclusion of our winter yearlings in the ring, then we will select our junior and reserve junior champions. Correction. Fall yearlings to follow the winter yearlings. After fall yearlings, we will select our junior and reserve junior champion of the show. Holstein exhibitors, our next and final class will be Breeders' Herd.
Two very competitive senior best threes out here, but just giving the group in first just a little more advantage in Mamries today. Just carry them over this group here in second. But both extreme dairy cows in both groups. Congratulations.
The first place Holstein senior best three females was exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farm, and the recipient of the special award presented by Earhart Farms in memory of Mr. James Earhart. Second senior best three females was exhibited by Pheasant Echoes of Westminster, Maryland. Breeders' Herd, please. Ayrshire exhibitors, results of the Spring Yearling Heifer class, recipient of the Eric Moore General Contracting Special Award, was presented to entry number 140, Glamour View Micro Guernsey, sold by Mallory's Lock Micro, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamour View Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Second, to entry 137, Lynn Noel Benedict Amelia, exhibited by Candace Lenhard of Thurmont, Maryland. Third, to entry number 143, Vale's Pride G-Easy Cover Girl, exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine of Thurmont, Maryland. Fourth, to entry number 141, Style and R Charisma, exhibited by Noah Utterbach of T-Fall Farms of Jefferson, Maryland. Fifth, to entry 142, Sherilyn Kingston Dahlia, exhibited by Josie Martin of Rocky Ridge, Maryland.
Well, here in the Holstein ring, for 2 groups out for Breeders' Herd of 5. You add those 2 beautiful calves to this second group, it makes it tighter, but you still got to give the first group advantage. And these more mature cows here, cows that wear tremendous udders, and giving them the advantage in maturity and the advantage in the udders to go over this second place group. But both 2 very deserving groups out here for Breeders' Herd of 5.
The first place Holstein Breeders Exhibitors Herd was exhibited by the Schwartzbeck family of Peace and Plenty. Peace and Plenty, also premier breeder and premier exhibitor of the 2021 Holstein show at the Maryland State Fair. The second place Breeders' Herd was exhibited by Stambaugh family of Pheasant Echoes in Union Bridge or Westminster, Maryland. The special award presented by Ed and Larry Grossland of Gladheart Holsteins for the first place exhibitors herd was awarded to Peace and Plenty Farms. Ladies and gentlemen of the Holstein Arena, this concludes our show. We thank you all on behalf of the Maryland Holstein Association, the Maryland State Fair and Agriculture Society, for bringing your animals here to our show. Congratulations to all of the winners. We look forward to your success in the upcoming shows in the fall, and certainly hope that we can see you back here in 2022. Guernsey exhibitors. Guernsey exhibitors. We will be ready for your spring heifer calves in the west end of the arena at 1:30, which is about 10 minutes from now. Guernsey spring heifer calves brought to and exit the ring from the dockside beginning at 1:30, 10 minutes from now. Ayrshire exhibitors, your next class will be fall yearlings. On behalf of the Maryland State Fair and Agriculture Society, its officers and directors, and the Maryland Holstein Association, we'd like to express our appreciation and thanks to Mr. Mike Duckett for placing our Holsteins here this afternoon.
We got a close placing for us on top of our Ayrshire Winter Yearling class. Heifers that I like certain aspects of, and things I'd like to change about both heifers. For this first place heifer for us today, she's so much cleaner. She's so much more dairy than our second place individual. She's got that wide chest that you love to see. She's harder up over that top line. She's longer through that head and neck. She's trimmer about that dewlap and brisket. And then you get behind him, she has so much more drop to that rear rib, so much more openness to her rib than the heifer we have coming out in second. Taking nothing away from the second place heifer, I do far prefer the way she moves around the ring. Those thurls are more centrally located between her hooks and pins. She keeps her legs up underneath her a little bit nicer and tracks straighter out on the move than our first place heifer. But for us today, I'd just like to see a little bit more dariness, a little more quality, a little more openness to get up on top of the class today. But it is the style that she has for us today, being a little bit cleaner cut, showing a little more Ayrshire breed character than the heifer we have coming out in third, tracking nicer on those rear legs, being a little flatter down through that hock than the heifer we have coming out in third. And then third over fourth, she just outpowers, outmuscles the heifer in fourth, being taller at the withers, hooks and pins, longer up through that front end, higher in the chine than the heifer we have coming out in fourth.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Ayrshire exhibitors, fall yearlings in the ring. And upon the conclusion of the fall yearlings, we will move right into junior and reserve junior champions of our show. And if we could, please, since we've got a lot of animals coming in that center aisle, if you're not involved in bringing an animal winner out, we would ask that you please keep the aisle clear for our exhibitors. Results of our Ayrshire Winter Yearlings who just left the ring, a recipient of the special award presented by Mike and Mary Creek of Palmyra Farm to the first place Ayrshire Winter Yearling, entry 144. Old and Lazy Willow Girl, sired by Palmyra Berkeley Reagan, exhibited by Jeff and Rhonda Winkler of Steel Fire Farm in Woodbine, Maryland. Second to entry 145, Joe Mill Burdett Kaleidoscope, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamourview Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Third to entry 148, Len Knowles Shining Bell, exhibited by Candace Lenhart of Thurmont, Maryland. Fourth to entry number 146, R.J. Marr Reagan Alona Amber, exhibited by Jessica Martin of Rocky Ridge, Maryland. Ayrshire Fall Yearling heifers entering the ring.
Well, quite a logical heifer coming out today for our winner for the fall yearling class. Heifer who's extremely balanced, extremely pretty, extremely feminine, walking on a great set of feet and legs for us today as she moves around the ring. And it's the advantage she has over the second place calf of just being more feminine up through that head and neck, being firmer in that loin, a little cleaner down through the hock than the heifer we have coming out in second. Second over third, it's a closer placing for me today, but we're going to give the advantage to the second place heifer just being so much deeper in that heart, deeper in both fore and rear rib, more open in her rib structure than the hard top heifer we have coming out in third. I would grant I do prefer the way that third place heifer holds her loin up a little bit nicer than our second place individual. Just like to see a little bit more midsection, a little more drop, especially for this stage and age of the heifers we're in. But it's the advantage she has over our fourth place heifer, just being a lot harder over that top line, a lot prettier out on the move, more feminine down in her bone and tracking out a better set of feet and legs today.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Ayrshire exhibitors, please bring your first and second place animals from the junior classes back to the ring so we can select our junior and reserve junior champions of our show. Guernsey exhibitors, by my watch, it is exactly 1:30. We expect your spring heifer calves in the ring. Please enter and exit through the dock side. Guernsey spring heifer calves. You have been waiting all day to begin your show, so bring them on. And once again, anybody in the Cow Palace or in ear of this announcement, check your pockets if you're staying in the Red Roof Inn, because somebody doesn't have their room key. As I'm looking at it here at the announcer stand. Ayrshire Junior class winners coming into the ring. Please allow room and get them in the ring so they can all be here. Ayrshire exhibitors, results of the fall yearling class that just left the ring, while our contestants for junior reserve junior champion are coming in. The special award presented by Glamourview Farm to the first place Ayrshire fall yearling heifer, entry number 153. Paragon Acres Big Star Catalina, starred by Kamoraska Big Star, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamourview Farm in Walkersville, Maryland. Second was entry 152, Royal Crown Gin and Juice, exhibited by Michelle Gerhardt of Union Bridge, Maryland. Third to entry 150, Elmbrook Shimmers, exhibited by Julianne Wagner and Richard Tharp of Rising Sun, Maryland. Fourth to entry 151, Quietness Regan Hartwell, exhibited by Richard Tharp and Braden Nadrum. Guernsey exhibitors can be bringing your winter heifer calves to the ringside. You Guernsey exhibitors, we're very happy to have a young man from Texas officiate at your show here today, Mr. Nate Goldenberg.
Can you all hear me? They told me I didn't speak in the mic yesterday, so I want everybody to listen to what I have to say, I guess. I'm starting with this calf here. She's just so much more angular than the second place calf for me today. A heifer that's really deep in her heart and wide through the floor of her chest. She's cleaner in her bone and walking on a little nicer set of feet and legs, a little nicer and neater through the rump than our second place heifer. Second place heifer, an extremely large heifer today. A heifer that's long in her makeup, walking on a little better set of feet and legs than our third place calf. So much more width and mass than our third place calf. Third over fourth on predominantly rump structure. More correct in her thorough placement, walking on a better set of feet and legs. Congratulations.
Guernsey exhibitors, we're ready for your winter calves in the ring. Results of the first place Guernsey Spring Heifer Calf, the recipient of the special award presented by 3 Brooks Farm, a Hawker family, to our first place Guernsey Spring Heifer Calf, entry 258. High Gern View JP Delightful, starred by Spring Hill JC Penny, exhibited by Mary Kirk of Peach Bottom, Pennsylvania. Second, to entry 260, Walnut Ridge Shane Flow, exhibited by Lane Riggleman of Emerald City Jerseys in Jefferson, Maryland. Third, entry 287, Cedar Fringe Drone Ava, exhibited by Mary Kirk of Peach Bottom, Pennsylvania. Fourth, to entry 257, Cedar Fringe Drone Riley, also exhibited by Mary Kirk. Guernsey winter heifer calves in the ring, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the Guernsey fraternity, we're very happy to have with us today Mr. Greg Evans from Sunny Acres, Ayrshire, along with his wife Kathy and his parents Doug. Kathy, Sunny Acres has bred or owned over 170 All-American or Junior All-American nominations. Greg has judged many shows, well over 60 shows across many of the states, including the 2019 International Dairy Week Ayrshire Show in Australia. As he selects our junior champion Ayrshire, please welcome from New York, Mr. Greg Evans.
Well, first off, I forgot to mention in class, I'd like to thank Nate Goldenberg for coming over and giving me help on a couple classes. I had either owned or bred a couple animals, and he came over and kept things straight for me, so I do appreciate that. I pulled out 4 heifers for me today that fit the mold of the kind of heifer that I like. Heifers that are hard topped, heifers that have lots of length up through that head and neck, heifers who track on beautiful set of feet and legs, heifers who have the ample body and rump structure to turn into the kind of cows that you want to see down the road, and I think these 4 fit that mold. A pair of fall calves, as we mentioned in class. The first place heifer got over our second place heifer just a little bit nicer up through that front end, a little bit more drop to that middle. Our first place summer yearling, a heifer extremely hard top. You love the length, the neck, the femininity she possesses, a heifer who's just so straight line. And then our first place fall yearling, a heifer who's just a no holes kind of heifer. You love the uphill run, the length of body she has. Heifer tracks on a beautiful set of feet and legs for us today. And I'm going to go out and select our junior reserve, and I'll mention in that order and give them a big round of applause as I do. These are 4 top-level heifers that I think are going to go on and do bigger things, come to the national shows. These are 4 heifers that will compete with the best. This summer yearling for me, she's just so balanced. She's so pretty out on the move. You love the uphill run she possesses, the flat rump, the width she carries back through that pin region, the beautiful set of feet and legs that she walks upon for us today. And I'm giving her the advantage over our fall yearling. Just a little bit deeper rib for her stage of in age that she has for us, a little more drop to that rear rib, a little more openness to her rib, and the ultra balanced fall yearling that we have coming out for reserve. And then reserve over honorable mention, I just like the way that head and neck comes out of the shoulder. She's a little bit cleaner about that head and neck for us today, a little bit flatter down through her bone than this lovely fall calf that has a bright future out of her. 3 tremendous heifers. Congratulations to all exhibitors.
We have 2 really, really nice heifers here in the winter calf class. I'm starting with the heifer that's just a little bit more stylish throughout, a little thinner through the thigh, tracking on a little nicer set of feet and legs than our second place heifer. Not taking anything away from our second place heifer. She just isn't quite as sharp and angular today as our first place heifer. But saying that, our second place heifer is harder over top, wider throughout, longer, more open inner rib structure, and fuller inner crops than our third place calf. Third over fourth is on overall dairyness throughout. A heifer that's cleaner in her bone, more breed characteristics through the head and neck, more femininity throughout. Fourth over fifth, harder topped heifer, nicer through the rump, walking on a better set of feet and legs.
Okay, Elsie, we're ready for your Guernsey fall heifer calves. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ayrshire ring, the junior champion Ayrshire was the recipient of the Winkler Family Award in memory of Kathy Beans. To our junior champion, entry 133, Stalin R. Maleficent, sired by Palma Berkeley Reagan. Best bred and owned, exhibited by Leslie and Linda Burchie of Stalin Genetics in Westminster, Maryland. The reserve junior champion, the recipient of the Mark and Jessica Valentine family special award, to entry 153, Paragon Acres Big Star Catalina, sired by Kamoraska Big Star, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamourview Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. And our honorable mention, entry 123, Joe Mill Burdette Calypso, exhibited by Taylor and Melissa Heater. Ayrshire Junior Best 3 female groups now in the ring. Coming into our Guernsey ring is our fall heifer calves. The reserve Ayrshire Junior Champion Special Award was presented by Mark and Jessica Valentine and family in memory of Carson Rain Valentine. Guernsey exhibitors, the winter heifer calf class that just left the ring. The special award presented to the winter Guernsey heifer calf being entry 266. Naps Api Tostata, sired by Indian Acres American Pie, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamourview Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Second to entry 267, Highfield Latimer Loretta, exhibited by Wayne Spurrier of Annavadale Acres in Kemar, Maryland. Third was entry 262, Annavadale's Jaguar Vanna, also exhibited by Leah Spurrier of Frederick, Maryland. Fourth, entry 263, Annavadale's Excalibur Raven, exhibited by Annavadale Acres, Wayne Spurrier of Kemar, Maryland. And fifth, to entry number 264, Cedar Fridge Ladies Man Halley, exhibited by Mary Kirk of Peach Bottom, Pennsylvania. In the ring now are our Guernsey fall calves and our Ayrshire Junior Best 3 females.
Well, quite a handy winner today in Ayrshire Junior Best 3. This group coming out in first. It shows tons of uniformity throughout. Heifers that you love the uphill run, the levelness of the rumps. Heifers that track on beautiful sets of feet and legs, including our honorable mention junior champion fall calf. And it's the advantage over the second place group. I just do prefer the way this group moves around the ring as a whole compared to the group coming out in second. They're a little bit nicer up through the shoulder, all three of them, as compared to the group in second. In second over third, a little closer placing for me today. You could have flip-flopped it either way. We're going to go with the maturity of our second place group, the dariness and the levelness of the rumps of our second place group to get over the group in third. And then third over fourth, just so much more mass through their midsections, so much more maturity throughout than the super dairy balanced group we have coming out in fourth.
In our Ayrshire division, the first place junior best 3 females were exhibited by Joe Mill Farm. Second group was exhibited by Candace Lenhart. The third junior best 3 females exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine, and fourth to Mapledale. Ayrshire exhibitors, we're ready to start your milking show. Our next class will be milking fall yearlings.
We have one Ayrshire fall yearling to milk out here, but what an exceptional individual she is. You get behind her, she has so much width through that rear udder for a heifer so young. She carries it up to the corner so nicely. Heifer who's extremely balanced in her frame and tracking on a beautiful set of feet and legs today.
The first place Ayrshire Fall milking yearling, the recipient of the special award presented by Marilyn Lenhart, two entering 160, Joe Mill Burdette Caliente, starred by Palmar TriStar Burdette, exhibited by Taylor and Caden and Melissa Heater, Joe Mill Farm in Shade Gap, Pennsylvania. Ayrshire exhibitors, we're ready for your junior 2-year-old.
I'm starting this class, and it was quite close between the two heifers. Completely different kinds of heifers. I'm going with the heifer that's more angular, sharper throughout, a heifer that shows me so much more breed characteristic through that head and neck region than our second place heifer today. She's flatter in her bone, more open in her rib, and I think a little nicer and neater through the rump structure than our big, powerful heifer in second place. It is that power and strength and width throughout that gets her over this third place heifer. Third over fourth on overall dairiness, a heifer that's sharper over the shoulder and cleaner through the thigh than our beautiful heifer here we have in fourth, and just a bit over condition today for me. Congratulations.
Guernsey exhibitors, we're ready for your summer yearlings. The special award presented by Mark and Samantha Creek was made available to our junior best 3 females in our Ayrshire division. The special award presented by Mark and Samantha Creek. To you Guernsey exhibitors, as our summer yearlings are coming in the ring, the special award for the first place fall Guernsey heifer calf was presented by Ed Crossland to entry number 274, Fairview Latimer Carly. She's starred by Cooley Crest Fame Latimer, exhibited by Carl Fair of Fairfield, Pennsylvania. Second to entry 273, Spring Hill Tiller Charm, exhibited by Elsie Wolf of Hollow View Farm in Craryville, Pennsylvania. Third to entry 270, Cedar Fringe Ladies Band Penny, exhibited by Mary Kirk, Peach Bottom, Pennsylvania. Fourth to entry 272, PR Walnut Ridge Rep Fancy Nancy, exhibited by Elaine Riggleman of Emerald City Jerseys in Jefferson, Maryland.
We only have one summer yearling out here today, but you really admire this heifer from the hooks back. She's wide through that rump. She tracks on a really nice set of feet and legs, and she's really wide throughout. Hard-topped heifer, very worthy of the blue.
Guernsey exhibitors, the first place summer yearling was entry 278, PR Cooley Crest Reputation Harmony, starred by Miss Me Reba's Reputation, exhibited by Wayne Spurrier of Annavadale Acres in Keymar, Maryland, and recipient of the special award presented to the first place Guernsey summer yearling heifer by Crownstone Farm. Guernsey spring yearling heifers coming into the ring. And in our Ayrshire ring, we have our junior 2-year-olds.
We have a close place on top of our Ayrshire Junior 2-year-old class. For me today, I prefer the way that the levelness of the udder floor on our first place cow, the way that forwarder blends into the body wall for us. She's less quartered up through the middle of that udder as compared to our second place cow. We're being a little bit nicer about that rump, more level from hooks to pins, showing a little more drop to the fore rib than the cow we have coming out in second. Granted, I do prefer the rear udder on the second place cow. Shows more height to the top of that rear udder, a little more width throughout that mammary system than the first place animal. But she gets the advantage of, it is that advantage of the rear udder that gets her over the white cow coming out in third. She's higher and wider and fuller and firmer in that rear udder for us today. She shows more drop both forward and rear, more openness of rib, and the tall, long white cow coming out in third.
Three very, very nice junior yearling heifers out here today. I'm starting with this red heifer. She's just more dairy throughout for me, a little neater through that rump structure, a little wider throughout from the floor of her chest all the way through. She's a wider muzzle heifer. I think she has a bit more breed characteristic throughout as well. She's harder over the top, especially through the loin, than our second place heifer. Second over third on overall extension, a heifer that's extremely long, a heifer that follows my first place heifer. She's a heifer that's probably walking on a touch better set of feet and legs. And again, a heifer that's, I think, is a little wider all the way throughout than our third place heifer. A very, very stylish heifer, just a bit too compact for me today.
Guernsey exhibitors, we only have one fall yearling.
We have one Ayrshire Senior 2-year-old out here today, but quite the individual walking around the ring. How you love how hard top she is, the dairy quality she has, the way she moves around the ring with such ease. And then you come to the best part about her. You just love this mammary system. It's so full all the way up to the top. The forwarder blends beautifully into that body wall. Those teats sit underneath so nicely. Look out with a deep enough seam for me today. Look how you love the quality throughout that mammary system. Just a beautiful, beautiful individual.
Results of the Guernsey spring yearlings that left the ring. The recipient is special award presented by Colin Kean to the first place Guernsey spring yearling heifer number 282, Annavadale's Ignat Frankie, starred by Maple Bottom Copper Lugnut, exhibited by Wayne Spurrier of Annavadale Acres. Second, new entry 281, Cedar Fridge Legend Poppy, exhibited by Mary Kirk. Third, to entry 280, Eber Acres El Alley, exhibited by Wayne Spurrier. The first place fall yearling Guernsey, recipient of the special award, presented on behalf of the Guernsey Association to Wayne Spurrier of Annavadale Acres, entry 285, Annavadale's Levi Vera, starred by Maradoon Aprons Levy, exhibited by Spurrier. We'll now select our
We have one really nice yearling out here. She tracks exceptionally well. She's wide throughout. Well worthy of the blue ribbon.
Because I mean, it looked exactly like it was perfect. So he said she was my camera.
the first place Guernsey Fall Yearling. Special award was presented by L.C. Wolf.
We have 2 junior 3-year-olds coming out today and 2 cows wearing lovely mammary systems. We'll certainly give the advantage to this first place cow on dairy quality and their levelness through her rump. The cow shows a little more uphill run for us. The cow is longer and leaner throughout, carrying less flesh back through that pin region and down through that thigh than the cow we have coming out in second. Well, it's just be more level from hooks to pins. More for us today, shows a little bit more width to the top of that rear udder. She carries that rear udder just a little bit up higher than the cow we have coming out in second. While also just moving around the ring with a little more ease than the big framey cow in second place today.
So, well, whenever you got that, and put it in, put the line right up like that. And I'm thinking to myself, because it's stuff like that. But after you see something, I was having trouble getting something. You know what I'm saying?
Ayrshire exhibitors, results of the senior Ayrshire exhibitors, those of you marking your program, we're kind of behind a little bit in announcing the junior 2-year-old was the recipient of a special award presented by Jonathan Teresa Major and family to entry number 164. Vale's Pride, Easy Like Sunday Morning, started by Palmyra Reagan, exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine of Thurmont, Maryland. Second was entry 165, Vale's Pride, Michigan Zero, also exhibited by Mark Valentine. Third, entry 166, Arabac Buddy Cena, exhibited by Richard Tharp of QT Acres, Rising Sun, Maryland. The special award for the Ayrshire senior 2-year-old, presented by Candace Galladay and member of Sterling Lenhart Jr. to entry 168, Steelfire Burdette Grayson, started by Palmyra TriStar Burdette, exhibited by Jeff and Rhonda Winkler of Steelfire Farm in Woodbine, Maryland. The junior 3-year-old recipient was entry number 169, Palmyra Booth B.D. Rosie, started by Palmyra Predator Booth, exhibited by Palmyra Farm of Hagerstown, Maryland, and the recipient of the Spring Vale Farm, Jeff and Patty Hubbard and family, of the special award. Second was entry 170, Vale's Pride Vicky Exalt, exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine of Thurmont, Maryland. In our Guernsey ring, our judge, Mr. Nate Goldenberg, is about to select our junior and reserve junior champions of our Guernsey show, respectively.
A beautiful pair of senior threes coming out here today, but a handy winner for me in the first place cow. Cow does show so much more dariness and quality than the second place individual. She's silkier, high-headed. She shows more quality throughout that mammary system, more venation throughout that udder. Being deeper in that seam, I do prefer the teat placement on her as well. More for us today, she just moves around the ring with so much more grace and style. Shows more flexion to that hock than the cow we have coming out in second. Taking nothing away from the second place cow, you get behind her, you love that width she has through that rear udder, and she carries that width all the way up with a beautiful forward to go with it. Two beautiful cows that's coming out today.
Ayrshire exhibitor, there's a special award is for the Ayrshire Senior 3-year-old cow is presented by the Heater family, the Joe Mill Farm, and went to entry 174, Dale Vista Viking Love, sired by De La Plaine Viking, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamourview Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Second was entry 173, Old Bankston Owl Wildfire, also exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamourview Creamery. Ladies and gentlemen of the Guernsey rink side, it's our privilege to have here this afternoon tying the ribbons on our Guernsey breed, Mr. Nate Goldenberg. Nate has been a student of high quality dairy cattle of all breeds all of his life. Nate graduated with a BS and Masters in Dairy Science and Nutrition from Oklahoma State University. Nate and his wife and family own Gold Fawn Farm and Goldenberg Consulting Incorporation. He has developed and sold many All-Americans and champion dairy cattle of several breeds such as Holstein, red and white Holsteins, brown Swiss, and Guernseys. Judged many state fairs across the United States and national shows at Louisville and the National Brown Swiss Show in Mexico. But he'll tell you his greatest accomplishment in life is his family. His wife Laurel and their 3 children and 4 grandchildren, and all are involved in the family business of Goldfin Farm and Goldenberg Consulting. Won't you please welcome Mr. Nate Goldenberg as he selects our Guernsey Junior Reserve Junior Champions.
Thank you very much. I pulled out my winter calf and my 2 junior yearlings in consideration for junior champion today. I love the angularity, the style and balance of our winter calf out here. She walks on a really, really good set of feet and legs. You love the width and strength and power of our spring yearling that won the class. You love the breed characteristic through the head and neck of this heifer. She also tracks extremely well. She's got a beautiful rump to go along with that. Deep through the heart. Just a really, really stylish, well-balanced spring yearling. And our second place spring yearling is basically cut out of the same mold. Maybe not quite as feminine throughout as our first place heifer, but a tremendous heifer in her own right. She's open, she's wide, she walks on a nice set of feet and legs, she's got a flat bone. And these are the 3 heifers I have in consideration for my junior champion. I'm not going to waste any time in telling you. Winter calf, JC, spring yearlings, reserve, and honorable mention. In that order. It is that balance and style throughout, that strength through the crops, that openness throughout, that beautiful clean bone in our winter calf that gets her to the top today. And it's that mass through the front end and that beautiful breed characteristic of our first place spring yearling that gets her over the other heifer today for me. Congratulations. I'm very proud to have been here to judge the show. I think we have 1 cow as judge, and then I'll talk a little more.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goldenberg. The junior champion Guernsey was a recipient of the special award presented by Kitty McKenzie. And our reserve junior champion will receive the special award presented by Megan Stibbe. The junior champion is entry number 266, Naps Appy Tostata, starred by Indian Acres American Pie. Her dam, Naps Regis Tambourine, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamourview Farm in Walkersville, Maryland. And as mentioned, the recipient of the special award presented by Kitty McKenzie. The reserve junior champion, entry number 282, Annavadale's Lugnut Frankie, starred by Maple Bottom Copper Lugnut, out of the cow Annavadale's Mint Juicy, exhibited by Wayne Spurrier of Annavadale Acres in Kemar, Maryland. And our honorable mention was entry 281, Cedar Fridge Legend Poppy, exhibited by Mary Kirk, Peach Bottom, Pennsylvania.
Well, what an individual we have coming out winning our 4-year-old class. A cow that just drips dairiness. A cow is so silky hided. She carries a beautiful mammary system. So high, so wide, so full all the way to the top. That forwarder's cranked into that body wall with veins just all over it. When you see those veins come from that forudder to her belly and all the way up over her rib cage, a cow that just spells dairiness to me all the way through. And that's the advantage she has over the second place cow. Just keeps those legs up underneath her a little bit nicer for us today. Those thrills are more centrally located. She shows more top to that rear udder, carries that udder up a little bit higher than the cow we have coming out in second. And then second goes over third, just so much more quality and dairiness, so much more length up through that head and neck. She's cleaner about that dewlap and brisket for us today. I like the way that forwarder goes into the body wall, so much nicer than the cow we have coming out in third. Also showing more definition to her crease.
Ayrshire exhibitors, we're ready for your 5-year-old cows. There's only one entry, so you may bring in your age cows, Ayrshire's, to the ringside. Results of the 4-year-old class that just left the ring. The first place Ayrshire 4-year-old cow is the recipient of the special award presented by Michael and Michelle Gerhard of Royal Crown Ayshires to entry number 178, Old Bankston J.C. Banner. She's starred by Palmar Berkeley Reagan, exhibited by Walton and Yeager, Glamourview Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Entry 177 was second, Vale's Pride Gentle Evie, exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine of Thurmont, Maryland. Third of entry 179, Happy, exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farm in Whitehall, Maryland. There's only one Ayrshire 5-year-old. Age cows can be at the ringside.
We only have two junior best 3 females. I'm going with the group that just has so much more power. They're harder over their top. They're fuller in their crops. They just have more width and strength throughout than our second place junior best 3 female.
Just one 5-year-old Ayrshire cow. You love the uphill run that she has. An extremely balanced kind of cow. A cow you wish you had a little more bloom and pop to that mammary system. She decided she didn't want to play this week. But a cow that you admire the quality through that udder. Just like to see it filled up today.
Guernsey exhibitors, the first place junior best 3 females was exhibited by Wayne Spurrier of Annavadale Acres, and the recipient of the special award presented by Bill Messings to Annavadale Acres. Second junior best 3 females was exhibited by Mary Kirk of Peach Bottom, Pennsylvania. We're now ready to begin our Guernsey senior females. Ayrshire exhibitors, we're waiting for your aged cows. The first place Ayrshire 5-year-old cow, the recipient of the Denny and Sherry Linhart Lindnall Farm Special Award to entry 180, Vale's Pride Riggins Echo, started by Palmyra Riggins, exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine,
We only have
Claremont, Maryland.
We only have one cow out here. She's a 2-year-old. She's had one calf. She's got a beautiful memory system, high white rear udder, teats placed down on her udder, well worthy of that blue ribbon.
Guernsey exhibitors, I don't think we have any more cows. So we will go right in to bring our junior and reserve junior champions back so we can select our grand and the reserve grand of our show.
Well, a pair of cows, 14 calves between the two of them. But we'll certainly give the advantage to this red cow on just being a little bit cleaner and more dairy throughout, being longer through her neck, longer through her body, longer through her rump, and showing more width through that front end and width through that rear udder. Taking nothing away from this white cow, a cow who has had 8 calves, still wears that mammary system that's just welded onto her. A cow who's extremely straight line. Just like to see her cleaned up a little more today to compete with our first place individual.
The first place Guernsey senior 2-year-old was exhibited by Annavadale Acres, Annavadale Sweet Reese's, started by Longhaven CS Caspian Nolan, entry number 292, and the recipient of the special award presented by Mount Errett Farm.
We didn't have a very large Guernsey show today. But Guernseys are very, very dear to my heart. I grew up on a Guernsey dairy back in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s when Guernsey cows looked like Guernsey cows to me. When they were a little bit more moderate in size. They were cows that were very functional, walked on great set of feet and legs. We got away from that a little bit for about 30, 40 years. And we're bringing it back now. We're getting them a little bit more moderate in size again. We've really made huge strides in correcting the feet and leg issue in the Guernsey breed. And I think we have 3 representatives out here that I really, really like and admire. We've got this 2-year-old cow with a lovely memory system, a high wide rear udder, tremendous depth of heart in this young cow. She's white in her front end. She tracks square on all 4 feet and legs. Then we've got this lovely, lovely winter calf out here that just exemplifies style and balance, walking again on a beautiful set of feet and legs, beautiful clean bone. Just a lot of nice things you can say about her. And then we've got this big, powerful spring yearling that's open in her rib, thin in her thigh, tremendous width of chest that this heifer has. Beautiful breed characteristic through the head and neck. I'm going to make my cow the grand champion today, and I'm going to follow her with the two heifers. Congratulations.
Results of the Ayrshire H cow class. The special award was made available by Chris and Carol Murray and family to the first place H cow entry 181. Carver Crest Etkin Sizzle, started by Palmyra Reality Braddock, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamour View Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Second to entry 182, Garnet Lane Avenger Phoenix, exhibited by Mark Valentine of Therma, Maryland. Our grand champion Guernsey, our senior and grand champion, recipient of the Chesapeake Gold Farm Special Award presented by the Miller family, and a special award in memory of Melvin Wessel and Fred Downey by the Terry Thompson family, to our grand champion Guernsey, entry number 292, Annabadale's Sweet Reese's, started by Langhaven C.S. Caspian Nolan, her Dam Hollowview Kringle Rita, exhibited, bred and owned by Wayne Spurrier of Annabadale Acres, also Best Maryland bred and owned Guernsey female. The reserve grand champion Guernsey, entry number 266, our junior champion Naps Abby Tostada, recipient of a special award presented to entry number 266. Naps Appy Tostada, started by Indian Acres American Pie, out of the cow Naps Regis Tambourine, exhibited by Walton Yeager, Glamourview Dairy, Walkersville, Maryland.
I gotta give this part to this guy. Sure. I'll be right back.
In our Ayrshire ring, these animals coming in are our first and second place senior female class winners, from which we will select our grand and reserve grand champion Ayrshire cow of our show.
We have one produce of Dan, two really nice heifers, hard-topped heifers, open-ribbed heifers, dairy, angular, well worthy of the blues.
David Hill. Exhibitors in the barn, those of you who have respective breed champions and junior champions. The Supreme Champions will be at 3 o'clock. I'm told it was previously announced that it will be at 3 o'clock, beginning with the junior females. We ask that you line up on the dock side. 3 o'clock, we will commence with the selection of our Supreme Champion. The first place Guernsey produce of dam was exhibited by Wayne Spurrier of Annavadale Acres. Ladies and gentlemen of the Guernsey ringside, our Guernsey show has come to a conclusion, and we, on behalf of the Maryland Guernsey breeders and the Maryland State Fair, we'd like to thank all of you exhibitors, herds people, spectators who have participated in our Guernsey show here at Timonium, and especially thank Mr. Nate Goldenberg from Texas for his official placings and efficiency in which he participated as your official judge. In our Ayrshire ring, we are about to select our grand, at the moment, senior and reserve senior champions, to be followed by grand and reserve grand champions. Then we will move right into the group classes.
Let's give all these Ayrshire exhibitors a huge round of applause. There's animals I sent to the rail that I know are going to go on and compete at Harrisburg and Expo in Louisville, so it shows the quality of this show. I pulled out our first place milking yearling, a cow that has such a bright future. You love the width that she has, the balance. She's so correct. A cow that you just love the way she moves around the ring. Our first place senior 2-year-old, an extreme mammary system. A cow you love, the loveliness over that top line, the great rump that she has. We brought out our first place junior 3-year-old cow, a cow who's so high in that chine. You love the uphill run that she has, the sweep to her rib. A cow that wears a beautiful mammary system for us today. Our first place 4-year-old, a cow that just is so dairy, so clean, so feminine. Tremendous mammary system underneath her, a cow that still has power and width to go with that dairiness. And then our first place age cow, a cow that's had 6 calves, still has an udder that's just welded on, beautiful height and width of that mammary system, a cow that has ample strength and power throughout. So I'll go out and select your senior and reserve senior champion, and when I do, give them a big round of applause. This is quite a group out here today, and I'm really happy to be able to do this. You can do a lot of things with these 5 cows, but for me today, this 4-year-old's lights out. If you missed her, you missed the show. This cow is so dairy. She's so clean. She's so pretty out on the move. Cow with a beautiful mammary system. And I'm giving her the advantage today over our junior 3-year-old. She is more feminine today. She's cleaner up through that head and neck. I prefer the way that tail head sits down in between those pins compared to our junior 3, while showing a little bit more pop to that rear udder than the first place junior 3-year-old. Our junior 3-year-old goes over our senior 2 for us, a little more frame, a little more middle, a little more run through that front end, a little more drop to that heart, a little more length through her body. Taking nothing away from this senior 2-year-old. What a mammary system underneath her. You love the quality, the height and width and fullness throughout that udder. A cow that udder's just welded on, has a bright, bright future ahead of us. 3 tremendous cows coming out today for senior reserve and our mention.
That's our exhibitors. We're now ready to select our grand and reserve grand champion, Ayrshire of our show. Ladies and gentlemen, the Guernsey ring. The special awards that were presented to the grand champion Guernsey was presented in memory of Melvin H. Wessel and Fred C. Downey by the Terry Thompson family, and the reserve grand champion presented by the Chasen family of Roja Farm. Especially like to thank our alternate dairy princess from Washington County, Miss Emily Stiles, and our dairy maid, Miss Carly Newell, for assisting in the Guernsey ring, passing out ribbons and getting the placings. Thank you very much, ladies.
I could sing their graces on this summer yearling and senior yearling all day. 2 heifers that I think are going to go on and do amazing things later on this fall. But for me today, we're going to stick with this pair of cows, our first place 4-year-old and our first place junior 3-year-old. 2 cows that I think have huge futures ahead of them. 2 cows that you love the mammary systems, you love the dairiness, the quality, the frames, the way they track around the ring. 2 very deserving grand and reserve grand champions. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Evans. The senior and grand champion, the special champion award presented for our senior champion, presented in honor of David and Ann Patrick by Jeff and Rhonda Winkler. 2 entry 178, Old Bankston J.C. Banner. She's started by Palmyra Berkeley Reagan. Out of the cow, Old Bankston J.C. Bryce Bikini. Exhibited by Walton Yeager, Glamour View Creamery in Walkersville, Maryland. Our senior grand and grand champion. Reserve senior champion, reserve grand, recipient of the special award presented by Mike and Liz Creek. 2 entry number 169, Palmyra Booth B.D. Rosie, started by Palmyra Predator Booth. Out of the cow, Palmyra Burdette D. Rosie, exhibited by Palmyra Farm in Hagerstown, Maryland. And their honorable mention was entry 168, Steel Fire Burdette Green, exhibited by Rhonda and Jeff Winkler of Steel Fire Farm. Ayrshire exhibitors, we're now ready for your produce of dam. Ayrshire exhibitors, the order of showing is Produce of Dam, which is in the ring now. That will be followed by Dam and Daughter class, then Senior Best 3 females, and finally Exhibitors Herd. The Exhibitors Herd is 5 head, 2 years of age and older, 2 under 2, and 1 any age. Last call. If anybody in the Cow Palace has lost their room key to the Red Roof Inn, we may have it here at the announcer's stand.
4 really nice groups in our produce of dam, and it's fun to look at these classes and see the similarities in the heifers and the pairings. But a pretty good, easy winner coming out here in the first place group. We have our first place milking yearling and our first place fall calf. Both heifers were used in the pullouts for their respective champion classes, and heifers that are extremely well made and extremely similar in their makeup. Heifers that track really well, and then you wear that udder that milking yearling has. Here's the advantage they have over the second place group, and just moving around the ring a little bit nicer, more uniformity in their rump structure as compared to the second place group. Second over third is on the cow power, that cow in the second place group. You love the width that she has through that mammary system, the big uphill run that she has. That gets her over our group coming out in third. And then third over fourth for us today, just more balance in the heifers for us. Heifers that track a little bit nicer on their rear legs, especially when you can, the fall calf versus the yearling. 4 really nice groups today in our produce of dam.
Ayrshire Dam and Daughter entries, please. Ayrshire Dam and Daughter. Ayrshire breeders, the first place produce of dam that just left the ring was exhibited by Joe Mill Farm and received a special award presented by Amanda and Bryce Dennis to the first place produce of dam. Second to Mark and Jess Valentine. The third place produce was exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine. And fourth place Ayrshire produce of dam to Candace Lenhart.
We have 2 groups out here today for Dam Daughter, and certainly a handy winner coming out in our first place group. You got 2 cows that wear beautiful mammary systems, 2 cows that are extremely balanced and well made, and just have the advantage in maturity through their frames, and having 2 cows to get over the second place group today.
Ayrshire exhibitors, we're now ready for your senior best 3 females. Senior best 3 females.
That's
just one senior best 3 females coming out here today, but a group that could certainly take on a lot more competition. We had our first place junior 2-year-old and a couple of second place finishers. Cows that wear beautiful mammary system, cows that have great frames, a lot of uphill run, cows that move around the ring with grace. 3 beautiful cows coming out today.
Results of the Ayrshire Dam and Daughter class first went to group exhibited by Mark and Jess Valentine and the recipient of a special award presented by Harold and Martha Clark of Edgewood's Farm to the first place Dam and Daughter group. The second group was exhibited by Richard Tharp. The senior best 3 females, recipient of the special award presented by Sherry Duty of Sherland Farm. The senior best 3 females, as mentioned, the special award presented by Sherry Duty of Sherland Farms to Mark and Jess Valentine. Coming in the ring now will be our entries for our exhibitors or breeders herd.
Well, we've come to the conclusion of the Ayrshire show, and I'd just like to say thank you to all the breeders and exhibitors out here today. It's certainly an honor to be able to judge the show. You think of the history of Maryland, Ayrshire, you think of the people that have come out of it, people like David Patrick, Mary Creek, Bob Valentine, herds like Wauwatosa, Mapledale, Palmyra. It's just, it's quite an honor to be here and place these animals, and it certainly doesn't disappoint with the quality all the way through, and especially when you got to the top end of those champion classes. So again, just thank you for having me down here. We got one group in our exhibitors herd, and certainly a balanced group. We took our senior best 3 and added a couple really nice heifers to it. As we mentioned before, we love the mammary system on this group. Cows that have uphill runs that are hard top, that have lots of strength and silky dairiness all the way through. And then you had 2 heifers that are made the same kind of way. Dairy heifers that track on great set of feet and legs. A group that can certainly take on more competition today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. The first place Ayrshire breeders or exhibitors herd received the special award presented by Ronald and Joanne Parmenter of Royal Crown Ayrshires to the Valentine family. Also, Premier Breeder and Premier Exhibitor. And those awards were presented by Chris and Carol Murray and family for Premier Breeder, and Harold and Martha Clark of Edgewood Church Farm for Premier Exhibitor. Congratulations to the Valentines. It's always nice This concludes our Ayrshire show. Congratulations to all of you owners, exhibitors, managers, herds people, all involved with making the Ayrshire show a very successful. It is now complete for 2021. And on behalf of the Maryland State Fair and Agricultural Society, Ayrshire breeders of the dairy department at the Maryland State Fair, congratulations to all of you. We wish you the best in the upcoming shows in the fall. And certainly hope you will be back here in 2022. And we'd like to also express our appreciation on behalf of the Ayrshire breeders and the Maryland State Fair to Mr. Greg Evans for the very efficient manner in which he participated and placed our animals here today. We invite you to stay tuned and stay to the arena. Beginning in about 10 minutes at 3 o'clock, we will begin to present the junior champions of each dairy breed, to select our supreme champion junior female, followed by the senior winners, to select supreme champions of the 7 dairy shows. 3 o'clock at the dockside.